Well, hello chaps and chapheads, and welcome to The Casual Gamer for May 2025. I had to think about this one. Yeah, thought about it. As you can see, I'm in a different corner of my room. I thought I'd do something different instead of the BGG thing. But BGG is a great place to go and check out stuff. I definitely highly recommend it. So yeah, I've gone off on a tangent already. I should be talking about what this video is about. This video is a blog video which accompanies my BGG blog. So I haven't gone on a tangent. I've done a Trump weave of some sort. But anywho, yeah. So yeah, this is a video version of the blog that I post on BGG. I'll put a link up down below where you can check out all the games that I played and what impressions I had. And this video in this blog is there just as advice for you to read, to listen to, and compare it with other people and other reviewers to see if it's, you know, your kettle of fish, because we all have slightly different points of view and different things happen at the table, and you play with different groups, so you're going to get different experience every time you play. And so that's what I hope to encapsulate with these videos and these blogs, is to see how my path changes with a game, because there are games that I play every month. And so you can see if the game has got boring, or if the game was good with this player count and not with another player count, and things like that. So yeah, that's what this is about, and it just gives me a chance to talk about video games. I thought I'd drop something on the floor, but I didn't. But anyhow, let's start off with what I've been playing this month, and I'm going to start with... I did drop something on the floor now. I'm going to start off with this right in my hand. This is Heroscape. This is just one of the boxes from the new set, and it's got shed loads of trees in there because I've got trees from the previous existing version of Heroscape that I have. And so what is Heroscape? Basically, it's a tabletop war game that you build onto your table, and it's got this amazing toy factor. And so what had happened is my son, there's quite a few bank holidays in France in May, and so one day I said, yeah, come on then, let's do it. And he set up this gigantic game with all the bits that I have. I don't have many of the new ones. I want some of the new stuff that they bring out, but yeah, you set it up and you build the terrain from these tiles, kind of Lego style, and you build the maps, and then you create armies with the figurines that they have, and then you just go to war on each other. And this is a game which always goes down well with him. We played the basic version, so everyone had one life point and that was it. And once they're dead, they're dead. We didn't play with the experienced version, which has English text, which he can't read because he's French. So yeah, but we love playing this game. It's hassle to set it up. It's like every time he asks me to play it, it's like... But yeah, I caved this one time, and we set it up and we spent the day playing a scenario, and we had fun. Dice rolling, moving into position, using the characters' abilities to either shoot distance or not shoot distance, and then climb everywhere. And as I said, it has an amazing toy factor. I'm not a tabletop wargamer, but this is the closest I will get to tabletop wargaming. And I can't recommend it enough. It's out now. It's probably going to be more expensive than it ever been, but it's well worth it because it is a playable toy and you create your own scenarios. I can't gush more about Heroscape than I can, but there you go, Heroscape. Next up is the wonderful classic Catan. I decided that it was time to play with my 7-year-old this game to teach him about management of resources, and he kind of grasped it pretty well. So I taught it to him, my wife played with me, and we started playing this classic old game of Catan, which turned very sour for me pretty quickly after I advised my son that the red numbers, the 6s and the 8s were going to come up a lot more, but he went into the zones of the 2s and the 3s and the 11s and 12s, and he managed to get more resources than me each turn. Yeah. So yeah, this game relies on a lot of luck of the dice rolls, which can be mitigated by adding a little kind of you know, a custom rule by saying if you don't get anything on your turn, you take a token. Once you have 2 tokens, you can spend those 2 tokens to get any resource of your choice, which I think is a good idea. It would have made this game a bit shorter, but this game dragged out, and I kept not getting what I want, and I had my roads cut off in front of me by the other players, and they were zipping ahead, and I was just doing the best I can with what I had, and yeah, I lost pitifully, but it's still, as much as you don't like Monopoly, this game, yeah, you could say it's not enjoyable because of the luck factor. But yeah, it is a good foundation to get people into modern day gaming. I still enjoy Catan. I'm still going to keep this, and hopefully introduce the Seafarers, which is what I've been trying to get to eventually. Eventually, when he grows up, it'd be no problem, but hey ho, that's Catan. Next up, I have this prototype copy of Halflings Best Chef. I taught this to a game designing friend of mine and his young nephew. This is I'm running on Kickstarter now, so I'll put a link up to the Kickstarter for this game. And so yeah, I taught this to my friend, which is a very simple dice placement game where you are placing dice out after you've rolled them in locations marked with their numbers, and then in turn order everyone collects all the stuff that they get. So you might have some ingredients that you want to pick up, you might want some wine, you might need some decorations which give you either a way to score extra points at the end of the game or a special power for your dice to be used during the course of the game. It's very, very light, and because the other 2 players are kind of like experienced players, they picked it up very quickly. The game was very, very quick. I mean, they got in the box 60 minutes, and then they said to me it's 25 minutes per player. But if you're playing with experienced players, this game plays very quickly. It's very light, it's very fluffy, it's very cute. As I said, it's running on Kickstarter. There should be a load of videos up now to give you a lot more different opinions about the game. But yeah, it's okay. It works for me. It's something simple that with quite a bit of interaction where you're fighting over the spaces, and it's not. Sometimes you will be left out with nothing, but you can still win either way. It's a little bit in your face, but at the same time not too in your face, and that is Halflings Best Chef. Go check it out, the Kickstarter, and as I said, there should be some videos there. Other reviewers have looked at the game, and you should be able to get some good opinions there. I'm already halfway there, which is pretty good. Yeah, because I'm going to talk about these games very, very quickly. This is Tiny Turbo Cars, which you've probably heard me talk about before. I've never reviewed it. Yeah, I've blogged about it many times. And as I said, this is a game which I really want to like. But the thing is, every time I play it, it falls flat on its face because it's a programmation game, but it's done with the slide. Everyone's got these slide puzzle controllers where they're programming their cars, and then it's a race to do that the quickest. Because it makes you go first. If you're last, you are the player that lose 1 life point on your battery on your car, because you're controlling little mini control cars around your house, and you'll set up the track, and then off you go, and you start doing this. And it's always kind of fell flat, mainly because I've been playing 2-player with my 7-year-old who really likes this game. But we played this again with my 2 experienced players, and they picked it up and enjoyed it, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more with 3 players. I'm hoping that with 5 players, and again, they were players that like programmable games. I think that's a big point about this game. You've got to like programmable games. If you don't like programmable games, this is not going to go down well with your group. And I think that's what it is about this game. It's very specific. It keeps falling on the floor. It's very specific, but it can be fun. As I said, you need the right group. You need a big group as well. I think 6 players would be so much fun because it's always hit and miss with weapons in this game, and special powers. Some special powers don't work very well if there are only 2 or 3 of you playing. They work better when there's more players. But yeah, this is a fun programmational game done with tongue-in-cheek to kind of mimic Mario, and it works. It works. The game works. It just needs the right players, and that's Tiny Turbo Cars.
This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Now, before I get into the meat of this video, yeah, I'm going to be talking about dungeon crawling a lot. And I did play a bit of D&D with my friends online. So I do play D&D now, which is something that I never used to do. But yeah, I want to talk about big dungeon crawls. And there are 3 on the table, which I'm going to show you. And I'll start with the lightest one. This is the big, old, heavy, advanced Thunderstone, which is a deck building game. I like deck building games. This is a deck building game which does things differently because on your turn, you can do 4 things with your cards in your hands. You can explore the dungeon and kill a monster. You can go down the village and buy some more stuff. You can take a rest and get rid of a card from your hand permanently, or you can prepare, which means that you save some good cards and discard the others ready, which is nice. And then it's got this theme of a fantasy game. You're hiring heroes and going into the dungeon, but it's never like the same heroes all the time because you're going to be buying multiple cards of maybe the same hero or different heroes, and depending on what you draw is cool. Now, I played this game solo twice because I had time to, and I want to enjoy it because I do enjoy the shuffling aspect, and I kind of do enjoy it. It is a tough thing as a solo game, but it has good things going for it as a solo game as well, because you have this objective to try to defeat as many monsters as possible before they escape, because they're going to be moving along this cave line, and when they escape, that's points against you, and the monsters that you kill are points towards you, and you're trying to have more points at the end of the game than there are against you, and that works. Unlike a lot of solo experience games, it gives you a chance to think a bit more and prepare and really kind of, you know, think, should I be wasting my turn preparing myself because I've got a kind of good hand and there's some really good point monsters there, or is it a game, or is it a turn where I just like, I'll go to the village and level up some characters and stuff. And that's another good thing, leveling up characters, cards in your deck. It's a nice feature. So yeah, I do like this as a kind of, it's just a deck builder. It's not a dungeon crawler, but it does have the dungeon crawling theme on it. But yeah, it is kind of good. It works. And I've got like 4 expansions. So I've got 2 of the big base ones and then 2 of the smaller ones. And so I've got quite a lot of cards to go through, and this is quite heavy because of the cards. But it is enjoyable, but it needs more cards. Even now I've got lots of cards, it still needs a few more cards to change things up a bit, but there's plenty of replayability in this game. So yeah, if I do get stranded on an island, this probably is one of the games that I would take or hope gets washed up with me, because as a solo game it works better than a lot of solo games, and it's a deck building. I like the shuffling, and it's got a fantasy theme, although some of the cards are different print and colours, which is a pain in the ass, but hey ho, it is what it is. Thunderstone Advance, nearly there. Big box time. Shadows of Brimstone is a kind of really good role-playing dungeon crawl game. There is a lot of bits and tokens and bobs in this game. I'm actually going to move it to the side because I don't want it to shimmy everywhere, even though I've built my own insert. Yeah, but Shadows of Brimstone is a good role-playing game. It doesn't work as well if you're playing a single kind of campaign, which is what I did with, again, my 2 experienced board gamers. They picked up the rules very quickly. I forgot rules as we were playing and had to reintroduce them as we went, which is a pain, because the game is kind of it's simple in layout, but it's convoluted in different things, a bit like Arkham Horror kind of thing. But it's has this really nice theme of cowboys exploring a mine. It has this really good system of generating your dungeon with the cards, which I really love. And as I said, it can be quite easy to pick up if you're an experienced gamer, because the rules will make sense, the combat will make sense, and that was a nice thing. Everything just like fell into place with these other players, which I found surprising. The thing that we didn't do is collect money from killing monsters or experience points, but that's beside the point. The fact was the case that my designer friend had a chance to try something different, a dungeon crawling epic game of an epic proportion. Unfortunately, it wasn't epic due to the fact that the randomization of encounter tokens meant that the first room we went to, we found an objective. And then the second room we went to, we found the second objective, and that was it. Game over. We killed the monster and we won. So the game played very, very shortly. And that's one of the problems with that type of game, is that it could go on forever, or it could be very, very short like that. It's nice in a way, but I was hoping to get another half an hour or 45 minutes out of the game and you know, encounter a few things and have a few little storytelling elements about the game. But yeah, it's a nice role-playing experience if you want to, because then you can go back and forth between the village or the town, buy some new equipment, level some stuff up, blah blah blah, and go back into the next dungeon, and the game will scale with you, which is nice. And you know, there have been times when I've played this game and it's right in your face and you are wiped out pretty quickly, but I think that's part of the learning curve. You need to know when you're gonna get slaughtered and run away. Excuse me. You do have that possibility to run away, but yeah, overall this game is a game that you're gonna want to play with the same group of people all the time, and get your characters and get your equipment and then figure out things. But this is a game with no end, unfortunately, so there's no like climax. It's just every dungeon is a climax, a mini climax, and that's it. You go back to the village and then you get your next quest as you level up the stuff, and yeah. But yeah, it is enjoyable if you're into that kind of stuff. Shadows of Brimstone. And now for the epic talk that I want to do is on this game, Advanced HeroQuest, and I can feel everything moving in this box because there's no insert. Advanced HeroQuest, which is HeroQuest but advanced, and I've been playing this a lot with my 7-year-old, who I thought might like something a bit more different than HeroQuest, and he did. This game again is a randomly generated dungeon crawl, where you have some quests, or you can just do just a dungeon crawl and then get to the quest room and kill the monsters there, and that's the quest done. So yeah, it's not as epic as Shadows of Brimstone, due to the fact that there's not a lot of stuff that you can collect along the way. It's just a sword +1 and a dagger +1 and a bow +1. But you can, it's the same fathom. You go down to the dungeon, you do the objectives, you go back out, you've got some gold, you go and spend it to buy some henchmen, which is a nice thing as well. You can buy henchmen to accompany you into the next dungeon. If you have henchmen, you need to pay for their cost of living if you get out of the dungeon afterwards, you know, a little bit of, you know, danger money. But yeah, it is a dungeon crawl, and we played the solo cooperative version, so we played together against the game, because I think games like that work best with kids. Being together, being part of a team, discussing, sometimes arguing, sometimes throwing a tantrum because your child wants to go over there, even though you've already mapped out that there's nothing over there. We've been there and there's nothing there apart from one door, but there's 3 doors here. Let's not spend half an hour walking across the board to get to that. Let's just go here and continue and hopefully randomly find the quest room and yay, be the heroes. But yeah, this game relies on that random ability, randomization of, you know, your dungeon. You might get to your objective easily, you might not get to your objective, and you might have all these things. And that's another good thing. It's got this built-in story from the tables that you generate. Every time you find a room, it might be just a normal room which might have some secret treasure in it. It might be a hazard room, and then you roll on this table. Everything is done from tables, so you can create your own tables and create your own story key elements or traps, and they make the game interesting. They're, you know, having a chasm to jump because there's a treasure chest on the other side, and it's like, oh, what could be in that? Or you find a trap door in the floor. Where does it go? Does it let off a poison gas, or does it take you to another dungeon? So you've got another dungeon underneath another dungeon, so you have to draw another map. That's one of the, I don't know if it's a drawback or not, but you do have to draw your maps on this game because there's not enough components to create all the corridors and all the rooms and doors. You're going to run out of some of the materials, and so you're going to need to reuse them. And again, when this map is expanding, you're going to need to move it and destroy parts of it. So having someone draw a map and make notes of, we searched this place for treasure, oh, there's a secret door here, and there's some monsters we didn't kill, we left them there. There's all that to be done, but it works. We are having such an enjoyable time playing this game and failing. But, you know, going back to the shop, we've got, you know, X amount of gold. And so we're going to spend it to buy some more henchmen. And then eventually there's going to be 20 henchmen and the two of us. And we're controlling all of those henchmen. Going into this dungeon and then just slaying all the Skavens. One of the things that I've done is I've added... Someone has created a 2nd edition rulebook which changes a few things, a few of the tables and bits and pieces, and also I've integrated the original HeroQuest into it, so you can find a bookshelf in a room. So you roll on a table to see what items are there. Oh, there's a bookshelf. You put the bookshelf in there. We search the bookshelf. You roll on a table and you can see what treasure is in that bookshelf. And that kind of like, I like that. That gives me a sense of playing Skyrim or a video game of some sort, where you are actually exploring and you are finding things which could have been there or not there, depending on whether the dice tells you it's there or not. And then, you know, we still haven't found any magical weapons after our 5 cave dives that we've done, but it's like, you know, one day we'll find something and it'd be like, cool, I'll give that to you, Robin. There you go, mate. You now have that sword which will kill orcs in one shot. You don't have to worry about it. And that's another thing I love about the game, is the combat system. It's dice rolling, yes. But you're comparing the creature's weapon skill against your table of your weapon skill. And that will tell you if you hit or miss with your dice roll. And then afterwards, depending on your skill level and the weapon that you're using, that tells you how many dice of damage you roll. And again, you compare that against the strength or the toughness, sorry, of that creature. And then again, you roll those dice, and if the numbers are higher than its toughness, that's a wound for each one. I like this system. And I think I'm going to be playing a lot more of this now than I ever will. I don't think I'll be playing HeroQuest. It does fall into the same trap of HeroQuest, where, you know, you can just like have a block on the door. So one character can just stand in the doorway and go while the monsters are coming, lining up and going beep. But hey ho, it is what it is. We try to make it so, you know, try and entice the monsters into the room so we can go from all the corners. And it's nice again because there's no like disengagement rules, so if you walk away you don't get stabbed and lose a point or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of good things. The statistics of the characters are really good and interesting. I like the dungeon crawling aspect. This is, you know, let's talk about the elephant in the room. What I would love is a dungeon crawling game which has the mechanics of HeroQuest and combat. I would love it to have Shadows of Brimstone's dungeon building with its little bits of story arc done by cards. And what would be fantastic is if the game had Dark Souls, the board game, bosses, and probably component quality. That would be the perfect game for me. That would be the amazing, greatest dungeon crawling game. Again, Shadows over Brimstone, you need all the power-ups and level-ups. The shop, this is so big. The amount of things you can buy from the stores in Shadows of Brimstone is amazing. You know, you can just inject black darkstone auras into your gun or whatever, or you can buy like this other gun, or you can buy a hatchet, special hatchet, which is powered by ghosts or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, I'm getting beside myself. There you go. That's the games that I've played. As you can see, I am really enthusiastic. A lot of these games I like a lot. And even though I haven't played much, I still feel like I've played a lot because they've been good games. They've taken a while to play, and they've all been enjoyable experiences. So there you go. That's my take on this. So I'm just going to finish off by saying thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you some ideas and pointed in a direction of whether these games are for you or not. I just want to give a quick shout out to Game Toppers. Thank you for your support, Berkey. Go and check out their Kickstarter 5.0, which will be coming soon, where they're going to be making shipping and stuff a lot more cheaper. And also, I'd like to say thank you to Board Game Geek, because without you, I would be a very lonely board gamer. Thanks for watching. I'll say ciao for now, and please remember to play nicely with each other.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games, I don't know how many.